Thank you for visiting the Awakening Movement channel. Today I'm here wanting to talk about my personal journey from kind of my asleep state to my aware state and my ever-growing aware state. We'll just get straight into it. It happened when I was a child, where I was aware that there was more to life than what all the adults really cared about, or where they were putting their attention. And I remember distinctly being very aware of like my parents' sadness and what they had carried. I didn't quite understand or know exactly where it came from, but I remember being able to sense that really strongly and just really wanting to see my parents happy. Like when they would get happy, it would just fill me up with such joy and excitement, and I would just be charged up to create and do. And that was an awareness I had since I was a young kid. And I liked to dance to music when I was a young child, and I would envision just different states of the earth where people are just coming together and just being in harmony and working together as one humanity. I didn't have that exact definition of it as a kid, but I did have a vision of that, and I can still see it in my mind's eye. I went through my life and the traumas in my life, and continued to grow and develop into this dynamic person that I've become. And then eventually, fast forward, I'm having an awakening. And initially that awakening process was very challenging, because the things that I once considered to be just a part of everyday life were now super foreign to me. And I just saw the dysfunction in certain things that I did as a person, or just society at large, how we were choosing to behave, how I was choosing to behave, how I was choosing to show up in this world. And it became so obvious. It was challenging in that initial stage to like really sit there and face it. And there was a lot of just self-projection and struggling with how I've contributed, and just a whole plethora of different things that came to me during that initial stage of my awakening. And now I find myself a few years later remembering. I would say that to my friend Mr. Jude Lane, very good friend of ours. He would tell us that we had a group chat called Remembering, and there was members, and we were like remembering together instead of dismembering. We were remembering, coming back together. And that's where I find myself now. And in this process of remembering, it has its challenges. And with that awareness that I have now, that I maybe didn't necessarily quite remember before, I see things differently, and I see myself differently. And it's important for me to remember, like, not to be critical on myself, because as I awaken, it's not this like enlightened state of being. We wake up every day seeking to be the best versions of ourselves, right? Like really like digging in and wanting to do the best. And there are old patterns of behavior that can get in the way sometimes, and that awareness is going to make you more aware of the pattern. And it's important to be kind to yourself, and remember that this is a journey, and that every day you are working through generational trauma, patterns of behavior that you witnessed as a child, and so much more, right? Like more than we can even remember or know from this particular lifetime. So just moving through this and learning the different lessons, the biggest one that as of recently I've started to become more aware of on my journey is the importance of self-expression, and the how much I'm become more and more aware of how much I suppress myself out of fear of someone thinking that I'm different, or being othered, or not fitting in with the group and being shunned. Like it's the worst possible thing can happen to us as human beings back in our tribal days, was to be kicked out of our cities and no longer belong to a tribe. And that's still so deeply embedded. and through societal conditioning and through conditioning from your parents, you know, they could have really meant well, but you know, they did the best that they could, and now you're trying to figure out what part of yourself is you and what part is something that you just took on. And I've just really become more aware of that, the limiting of my expression, my personal expression. And by expression, I mean just like how I show up. Do I show up fully myself? Do I have self-doubt? Do I think twice before I speak? Why do I do the things that I do? What is the motive behind them? Where do they come from? Just understanding myself on that level, to really find out, like, what is an illusion? What is a story that I've told myself to believe that I have to be this way? Something that I have struggled with was just my body image, right? Like holding on to the idea that like youth and your beauty is where your worth comes from, and beginning to become so aware of the hold that has on me as a person, and being able to learn to navigate with that bumpy water, right? Instead of trying to like cling to a bank, because it can be so hard and just being stuck there. It just moving through, being dynamic and allowing myself to express myself physically, whether it be the way that I dress, in the way that I like for myself, and not really because of someone else, or that's just on a superficial level, but like on a much deeper, internally rooted level, just being able to see the creativity within me and see how I use my creativity against myself, right? Like accepting that creative aspect, and also accepting, you know, in that polarity of things, that creativity can be used against me when I allow feelings or emotions to take place, like anxiety, and then like creativity goes off and we have all these thoughts based off of this fuel of anxiety. But being able to see that and sit with that and be okay with that and accept that part of myself, so that I can become wholly remembered. That was the name of the group chat. Thank you, Jude. Wholly remembered. So I could come back and bring all these fragments of myself, so that I can, every time I do show up, I show up a little clearer. I show up a little more aware, a little sharper. And I feel strongly that when you show up as yourself, you show others that it's okay for them to be their selves. And the more people that can be themselves, the more we can have harmony within ourselves, right? And the more harmony we have within ourselves, therefore it'll show up as harmony between each other. And that's, you know, and I'm sure a lot of us have heard this, is like you change the world when you change yourself. And allowing yourself to express and be wholly remembered is a part of that journey. And there's highs and there's lows in it, and it's all beautiful. And as challenging as my journey has been, I am so grateful that I have embarked on this journey of like truly awakening to myself. And I'm grateful from our Creator to be here. And as challenging as this journey can be, it can also be beautiful and exciting and refreshing, and to know that I'm living more authentically than I ever have. It's just, I feel like I've won a prize. I've won the lottery of life here. Like, I'm here and I have this chance, like this big chance to change inside of me, and to work on myself, and to know myself, and to love myself, and to see myself. Those things are so important, and I'm connecting to that, and that's why I wanted to come today. I just kind of wanted to make a little video about what I've been experiencing. It is challenging at times, let me tell you right now. It's very challenging at times. But we keep going, and we keep moving, and we continue to develop the space within, to develop that place where we can remember Creator, and that we can sit with Creator and create the space within us where we are boundless and we are relaxed, and we can have the energy of the great love of our Creator come into our hearts. So I'm just grateful, and I wanted to post up a little something here and say hello to all my followers and say thank you very much for being a part of my journey on the Awakening Movement channel.